As John Guare so graciously said, my name is Terry Stratton. I'm the Director of Education and Outreach here at the Dramatists Guild. Welcome to all of you. It's so nice to see the room so full. Thank you for coming this evening. It is an honor for me to introduce two of my favorite playwrights. I'm sure a lot of your favorite playwrights too. Sir Peter Shaffer, who I hope you have taken the opportunity to see his fabulous revival of Equus at the Broadhurst Theatre. And
Sir John Guare.
Sir John Guare, Lord John Guare. King John Guare. He was on our Dramatists Guild Council, and I cannot wait to see his new play in February at the Public Theater, so everyone buy tickets for that as well. So I turn it over now. Before I do that, please turn off your cell phones, your Blackberries.
I'm very, very glad to be here. Just to talk to Peter. I haven't talked to Peter in a long time. And, we share a great mutual passion for an English novelist called Wilkie Collins. And that brought us together many years ago. And I'll tell you something, why I'm really moved to be here at this time was the first I ever heard of Equus was at a meeting at the Dramatists Guild in the old glamorous Sardis, offices above Sardis, the old Schubert penthouse. And Garson Kanan and Ruth Gordon were being interviewed. And they had just returned. They were as high as, they said, before we talk about us, we have to talk, we went to a preview of a new play called Equus. It opened last night, and Ruth Gordon said, and believe me, it's the best play I've ever seen in my life. If I can barely, I mean, that's a terrible imitation, but they went on, so it was an interview about them, and all they wanted to talk about was Equus, and how this play burst the boundary. Well, I was sort of really, I couldn't wait to see Equus. And then when I saw it, it certainly did not. John Dexter's production, with that wall of young people behind them, that you would sell $2 tickets, but they got this wall of youth. And I saw Tony Hopkins, and I saw Tony Perkins in it twice, I remember, and I saw Richard Burton in it, and always Marion Seldes. And Tom Hulse was, Peter Firth was the boy, and then Tom Hulse, who went on to play Mozart, and then produce Spring Awakening. So I'd like to talk. The first time I saw you, this really is. I'm going to let you talk. But the first time that I was aware of you was in 1959 when I was a senior in college, and I went to the National Theater to see this new play, Five Finger Exercise. That was trying out at the National Theater. And it certainly was very, very, very exciting, because here was this English play. Americans still, we didn't sort of have a serious theater yet, other than Tennessee, so we were always waiting for the new English hit to come and show us the way. And there was Jessica Tandy, and Brian Bedford. It was quite...
It was not in London. It's Adrian Allen.
Oh, Adrian Allen was London, but I'm talking about Adrian
Allen. Came here.
When it came, yes, Adrian Allen, and then Jessica Tandy. And two things. I would like to talk to you about it was not your first play. Your first play, as I can gather, was a play about the birth of Israel.
Yes.
I wish you would talk about, since we are at the Dramatists Guild, I'd like to know how you got started. Because you wrote that this was the week that, you were a comedy writer, you wrote that this was the week that was, is that true?
Yes. I did a couple of sketches, but I wasn't really a comedy writer. I mean, I think I did write 2 sketches for them.
And was this play, The Salt of the Earth, is that the name of the play?
No, The Salt Land.
The Salt Land, was that your first play?
My first stage play.
Your first...
But it was never done on stage. It was done on television. It was done on almost the first play that independent television was founded in London.
Was that a disappointment that your first stage play was done on television?
No, not at all. It wasn't done at all somehow, and it was done on television.
And
it was filmed. in a movie studio, a real live movie.
Oh, it wasn't one of those live television.
No, no, and it was done with about 4 cameras and all of that, and it was done and produced almost like a movie. I mean, it didn't have the restraints of television.
And did you do much rewriting for it to make the adaptation from stage to?
No, I didn't do any. None. It was very strange.
And then how long after did Five Finger Exercise?
About 3 years. It was done. That was done much later.
What did you do in that 3-year period?
Oh, I worked in. I had a horrid life before that.
You worked in a coal
I
mine.
did.
Perhaps you were Charles Dickens' coal mine.
Exactly. No, it was conscription. I had to do it.
You mean as part of your military service?
Yes, part of my military service. I mean, then, not part of it, it was my military service.
And you had to go down into the mines?
Yes. Yes.
For how long?
Do you mean each day?
No, no. I want to know day by day. I want to know. Typical, how did you know? Well, I mean, how many years did you have to do that service in the mine?
2.5.
Years?
Yes.
I don't know what to say about that. Were you angry? Was it?
Oh, I was past anger. It wasn't angry. It was loathsome and repetitive, and any illusion I had about the dignity of labor had soon disappeared completely. It was disgusting.
Did you have any friends there? I mean, were you?
Oh yes, I had some friends, and I had other coal miner friends, and other conscripts.
How far outside of London? Where in England?
In Kent. Well, it first of all was in the north of England, and then it came down. My job in my mine, I should say, really began in the northwest in Pontefract, and then went down south. I was given, I think, how long? I'm just trying to work it out now. I found myself in Kent. There were 4, I didn't think there were any coal mines in Kent. I thought it was all gardens.
Gardens?
Yes, not at all. And there were 4 grim Dickensian mines in Kent, which mine was the first to be modernized. I was lucky in a way. It was disgusting. It was completely held together by string.
What's a modern coal mine?
Well, modern in the sense that it was given modern equipment and machinery when I was there.
And on weekends, would you go into London and see a play? Would you?
Well, yes, actually, not necessarily. I think not necessarily weekends.
Had you started writing?
No.
Did you know you were going to write?
Well, I don't know whether I knew I was going to. My father said, let's put it this way. I have my cigars, you have your writing.
Did he say it to both of you? Now your brother, your identical twin
My
brother.
twin brother was also a coal miner and was called up similarly.
And did you share the same mine?
We did. We did.
You've never written about Cain and Abel in a coal mine.
No, I didn't. I went very early. I was invalided out of the mine itself, under the earth, and spent my 2.5 years on top of the surface doing disgustingly tedious work on haulage. That's to say, huge, great sort of vat-like containers in iron that were pulled along by me.
Why haven't you written about this?
Because it's completely uninteresting.
Couldn't stop other people.